Welcome to the Life Self-Mastery Podcast, where we bring in entrepreneurs who have created online businesses and improved their lifestyles. Here's your host, Rohit Malhotra.
Hi everyone, I'm Rohit from lifeselfmastery.com, and today we have Jonathan Chashper, who's the CEO for wolfpack.run, and Nina Gabriadze, who's the marketing manager of Wolfpack. Wolfpack helps create full packs of friends who want to travel together. They also plan and schedule routes for you and your pack. Jonathan is the founder of Product Savvy Consulting and is a graduate of Northwestern University. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thank you, Rohit. It's good to be here. Thank you for having us.
Please do share your journey and why did you go to build wolfpack.run?
I started riding my motorcycle about 7 years ago. And one of the rides I went on, I actually got separated from my pack, from the buddies I was riding with. It was very frustrating because I couldn't reach them and I couldn't give them a call. They couldn't call me. And it took us more than an hour, about an hour and a half to get connected again. And so once we did, it kind of ruined the experience to everybody. And we just said, you know what, we're going to go home and we're done. And so when I was riding home, I had this eureka moment about, hey, this is a real problem. And with my entrepreneurial background and me being in startups my entire life and combining that with my passion to motorcycles, this is how Wolfpack was born, to address that problem.
Why did you want to solve this problem now? Do you think the market is ready for your product?
Definitely. The market is definitely ready for the product for many, many aspects. One of them that people are really, the cell phone is part of everybody's life. It doesn't leave our side ever. And more motorcycle riders actually moving from using dedicated GPS devices, moving them into actually using the cell phones. That side of the technology comes in. The other side of the technology and the idea of a connected vehicle is very, very prominent.
Do you have any competitors in this particular category, or are you the only one in this particular niche?
No, we do have a couple of competitors, and we're actually, in a way, happy that we have competitors because it proves to us that the market is indeed there. We have a few companies that we're competing with. We obviously believe that we have a superior solution. And I'm happy to say that not only that we believe in that, but we're actually getting very, very good feedback from our market. Oftentimes, what our users will tell us is that, hey, I used one of your competitor products. And once you came online and we saw that you have Wolfpack, we actually decided to use that. And if you want to hear, just to give you a name or two, so River is a competitor of ours, BBR is a competitor of ours, ESR is a competitor of ours. I'm happy to say again that we definitely, not only that we believe that we have a superior product, but we have very strong market indication that tells us the same.
Interesting. So what is the revenue model? How do you plan to make money from this particular product?
The basic idea behind Wolfpack is that we do not want to do ads. We don't want to reduce the user experience by ads. We don't want to create noise while you're riding, so this goes away. Because if you think about it, Wolfpack is mounted on your handlebars on your motorcycle, and you glance at it as you're driving around, riding around, making sure that you can see your buddies and so on. And so we don't want to do ads because we don't want to distract our riders. And what we decided to start with the freemium model. And in the freemium model, you get the app for free. You can probably use about 80% of the overall features for free. And then if you want what we call the premium features, you need to convert to premium. And once you take 8 rides with the application, again, you need to convert to premium. So we built in, if you will, a cliff at the end of 8 rides that forces you to convert. And the idea behind it is that if you actually like the app, then we definitely would like you to keep using that, and we want to capture some of the value that is perceived by you. And we believe that 8 rides is enough for you to decide whether you like the app or not.
What are your plans to get your first 1,000 users, or do you already have that number of users?
Right now, we actually have more than 22,000 users in 115 countries. And this is what's very, very exciting for us. We have a very quick adoption of our product by people worldwide. And we see people using it at places that are just, we didn't even think that people would ever use it there. For example, originally we envisioned that people will be using Wolfpack with heavy motorcycles. But we know about people who are using it with cars. We know about people using it with bicycles. We know about people who are using it with Vespas. For example, two big Vespa clubs, one in Australia, one in the Philippines, are actually using Wolfpack, which for us is a great thing. We're obviously very excited about that. So we're definitely getting traction, 22,000 users. We want to get to 100, at least 100,000 users by the end of the year. And this is why we're seeking funding.
So, Jonathan, Nina, what are your customer acquisition channels, and, how do you plan to acquire more customers?
We acquire customers. First of all, the app, as Jonathan mentioned, has viral effect. So when you download the app, you invite your friends to your pack so you can ride with them. And so when one person downloads the app, usually they invite anywhere from like 1 to 20. Sometimes somebody even invited 38 people. So we get viral effect, first of all. Second of all, Facebook works really well for us. The audience is there. And we also go and meet with a lot of motorcycle clubs. We get feedback from them to actually implement it. And I guess B2B partnerships would be one of the options too.
Are you looking at angel funding or, a crowdfunding platform like Republic to get funding, or do you already have VCs backing you at this stage?
So at this point, we are self-funded. Product Savvy, the company you mentioned, the other company I own, we actually self-incubated ourselves. We put in quite a bit of money into Wolfpack because we really believe in it. We definitely have a lot of skin in the game, which sometimes people ask about. We're not looking for angel investment specifically. We believe that crowdfunding is probably the right way for us to go, and we chose Republic to do it with. We're very excited about this, and we think that we will be able to raise the funds that we're looking for, and we will be able to get to at least 100,000 users by the end of the year.
Why do you need the funding? Do you need it for getting more app downloads or to increase your team? And how do you plan to expand to other countries?
We're planning to raise between $50,000 to $500,000. And the idea is to use about 40% for marketing, another 40% for expanding the development team and moving the product forward, because we're thinking about moving we have a B2B component that we want to explore of Wolfpack. So we're definitely expanding the offering in the market. So we'll need the money for that. And then the rest of the funds will go into strengthening our IP and a little bit of OPEX. But mainly, the big push will be for customer acquisition and for expanding our technological offering into the market.
Jonathan, you talk about B2B tie-up. So is there any market where you're looking at tying up with other car companies or bike companies, or how do you look at expanding that?
Well, if you think about this, one of the interesting things about motorcycle riding is that there is an ecosystem that we can tap into. And I'll give you an example. We partnered recently with Eagle Rider. Eagle Rider is the biggest motorcycle renting platform in the US. To do that, by doing that, we actually allow Wolfpack riders to rent a motorcycle through Wolfpack. And once they do that, they can use Wolfpack, as we said before, for actually planning the runs and executing the runs. We're also looking to partner with other people. We're partnered with Ross Brown. So we're doing that. They're providing roadside assist to their riders. And so we went in, we partnered with Ross Brown, and we actually offered their services through the Wolfpack application. We're also about to integrate with another company. I can't mention the name before the integration is actually over, but that will allow us to offer additional services to motorcycle riders. For example, showing them locations of biker-friendly businesses, showing them where there are biker-related events and things like that. So we are actually expanding into the motorcycle ecosystem to provide more value to our riders. Our end goal, 3-5 years from now, is actually expand the idea of Wolfpack into the travel market for companies that provide self-guided tours or companies that operate tours worldwide, to use Wolfpack to manage the groups of people they're touring with and helping them have a better traveling experience. So our end goal, once we kind of grow to a good size in the motorcycle market, our next goal is to go into other verticals, and the travel market is definitely a vertical we want to go into.
Interesting. Jonathan, you've chosen a very interesting niche. Let's talk about how big that market is, and what is the returns and exit strategies you're looking for investors?
So the motorcycle market, as it is today in the US alone, there are 11 million motorcycle riders. What we call the heavy motorcycle riders in the US alone, it's 8 million riders. In Europe, it's another 10 million riders. There are about 250 million motorcycles worldwide. any type of motorcycle. And so it's quite a big niche. We're thinking that our motorcycle market is at around $1.2 billion. The tourist traveling market is $1.1 trillion. These are quite big markets. Even what people refer to as a niche, it's north of $1 billion market. If we're only looking into US and Europe, and we are actually worldwide. So we are across all continents, from Australia to Asia to Europe and everything else.
What sort of returns, and if you have any sort of an exit strategy in mind, or is it about building that base and keeping it, with the management?
Well, we definitely have an exit strategy. We believe that we will probably be acquired by a connected vehicle company, whether the connected vehicle be a motorcycle or a car. We believe that assuming that financing actually goes the way we expect it to go and the growth will follow, we expect to be at about $25 million in revenue 5 years from today. And with that, not only that we'll get to those numbers, but we're also talking about a very high numbers of users. We're talking about more than 2 million users in 5 years from now. And at that size, we believe that there'll be quite a sizable exit, as I mentioned, either by a connected vehicle company, be it a motorcycle company like maybe Indian or Harley, or be it a car manufacturer like Toyota, for example. We also envision a situation where maybe a GPS company will be interested in what we're doing because of the unique offering we have. And so this is what we see as our exit strategy.
Any reasons your product might fail?
I'm sure there are quite a bit of those. Again, realistically, we have the challenge that every company has. We need market share. We believe that if we manage to grow the market share with the funds that will come in at this round, we are actually poised very strongly to succeed. This is the route we need to go to. We need to be able to grow the market. If we don't, and this is the challenge, then obviously we will fail. And for that, we need the funding to have that money to grow the market.
Can you talk a little bit about your team? Are you the only founder, or you have other co-founders as well?
I am actually the only founder, but I have a very good team. Nina, who's with us here, she's a marketing manager. I have Evan Haynes, who's my product manager, and we have a team of 5 developers in the country of Georgia, actually, that are working on Wolfpack. We came out and we started that company in Georgia to help us build products, and Wolfpack is the first one that was built. Everybody's employed by me without exception. As I mentioned, we're very much invested in this.
Got it. So let's quickly talk about the top 3. What's your favorite business book?
My favorite business book is, I'll give you 2. One is Crossing the Chasm, and the other one is called Tuned In.
If you could go back in time when you started your consulting business and your current business, what is the one thing you would have focused on?
In the consulting business, we were focusing on product management and product development management. So these are the things that we're focusing on, and I think that was a good choice. With Wolfpack, if I could, I would probably try to allocate more of the initial funds we put in towards market acquisition and user acquisition. I think that would be our goal. I would probably try to use the money a little differently. Sometimes you get to a situation where you need to invest in development, but you also need to invest in marketing. I wish I would have a little bit more money for marketing.
What's your favorite online tool, for example, Gmail or Slack?
Zoom is actually one of our favorite tools. We're using Zoom a lot. We're using Slack a lot. But if I have to rate them, I think that the Google App Suite is great. We're using it for managing pretty much everything in our company. Zoom is going to be up there with it. Yeah, I think that would be the 2 tools I would highly recommend using.
How can people reach out to you, and how can people use your app?
So it's very easy. You go to wolfpack.run. Remember that wolves run. That's what they do. So wolfpack.run should be easy to remember. Once you go to the webpage, you can download the app. It's available both on Android and iOS. And as I mentioned, it's being used by more than 22,000 people worldwide, 115 countries. So it's really easy to find us and go for it. And I think you'll enjoy a lot. And one of the big things about Wolfpack is that it's a big uniter because it works over any devices, regardless of your location. And the other thing is that especially if you're a rider looking for other riders, we have a very cool functionality called the public run that allows our riders to create public runs for others to find and join them. So it's a very, very good way to connect riders wherever they are into packs where they can ride together safely.
As of the recording, you here to get onto Republic platform for raising funding. So best of luck for that. And thank you very much, Jonathan and Nina, for coming onto the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening to the Life Self-Mastery podcast, where we teach you how to start and grow your online business. For more information, visit Rohit's blog at www.lifeselfmastery.com.